All right. Welcome back, everybody. We are super excited to now lead into our capstone experience of Connectapalooza 2023, our startup pitch competition. The team at Anthem is incredibly excited to shine a very bright light on 5 amazing startup organizations that are working to solve some gnarly problems that exist in this broader future of work space. And our format today, we wanted to do this and attempt to be as sort of streamlined and efficient as we can. We had each of our startups that were selected submit about a 3-minute video, which will provide a nice overview of what they're working on. And then that will be followed by about a 6 or so minute Q&A from this incredible panel of judges that we have. And so I would like to introduce our 4 judges who, out of just the goodness of their heart, have donated their time to us and are serving as our judging panel. So allow me to introduce those 4 individuals. First and foremost, we've got Kate Brodock. Kate is the CEO of Switch and the general partner at the W Fund. We've got Hadil Altashi, who's the manager of the Workplace Innovation Lab and Venture Capital as part of SHRM Labs. We have Gail Wilkinson, who's the founder and managing partner of Vitalize. And we have Kirsten Sudath, who's the general partner at Next Frontier Capital. So Hadil, Kate, Gail, Kirsten, thank you so much from the bottom of our heart and from our community of sharing your time with us today. It is a pleasure to have all 4 of you. I am super excited to introduce and share with you the video here of our first startup, and that is Cato. Cato is a smart networking solution that helps professionals build meaningful relationships that turn into deals. And I will introduce the founder after the video rolls. So let's roll the Cato video.
Hi everyone, I'm Patty and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Cato. The spreadsheet that you're looking at could be worth up to $50 million. It's the deal tracker of a top banker who earns $5 million a year and spends 8 hours a week keeping it up to date. Beyond the cost of maintenance, it obviously represents a risk for the company. What if this person left the firm tomorrow? Now, why was he using Excel instead of LinkedIn or the Salesforce that the firm already provides for? Because LinkedIn is a personal professional tool, detached from the company's database, and while Salesforce is great for sales and marketing, it's not a day-to-day tool for relationship building and networking. The system is broken and inefficient, and like our banker, there are 50 million other professionals out there wasting their time or just going back to the good old Excel. Me, being an ex-banker and seasoned networker, I know how frustrating the process can be, which is why at Cato, we're bridging the gaps of the system. With a single tool, we allow professionals to network, engage with clients, track relationships, and even anticipate deals, all within an enterprise ecosystem that ensures the security and integrity of the information. To give you an example, let's put ourselves in the shoes of a banker, John. John is attending an event, and instead of sharing his LinkedIn or paper business cards, with just a scan, he's able to share his profile, including contact information, creds, calls to action, video content, and even capture contact information on the go. Then being able to instantaneously add notes and tasks and sync everything to his CRM. Once we capture a contact, Cato is able to build a curated feed, bringing notes, social updates, news, and interactions together, allowing John to go to his meeting fully ready with key anecdotes. But also, through Cato's planner and AI sentiment tracker, we even allow John to identify potential M&A deals. Just imagine all the tools he would have needed originally. With Cato, the process was simple and efficient. Since we launched our product in December 2021, we have booked deals worth over $120,000 in ARR and have RFPs worth over $400,000, like one from Morgan Stanley or Cherry Beckard. As of today, we have grown organically, but we want to accelerate more by switching to a multi-channel marketing strategy and by also diversifying our geographies and target sectors, taking over the world one client at a time. My co-founder and myself have both worked at startups that have made it to unicorn or have been sold, making us fully capable to execute on our business plan and rapidly scale. We invite you to connect with us and join us in this journey to leverage technology to humanize business relationships. Thank you.
All right. I am going to turn things over to our panel of judges, and huge thanks to Kate Brodock for helping me and take a bit of a lead role with our judges. And in order to bring Patty up to stage, I actually have to leave. We've met a stage limit, so I'm going to remove myself. But before I do, I just want to say that I mispronounced. I said Cato, and it's obviously Cato. So Patty, my sincerest apologies. I'm going to leave stage so you can join.
Hi, Patty. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Nice seeing you again.
Yes, you too. Wonderful. Well, let's dive into a couple judging questions. Can you explain to us a little bit about your sales cycles?
Yeah, sure. It sort of depends on the size of the company, obviously. When we went to market at the end of last year, December 2021, we mostly focused on SMBs, obviously due to the early stage of the product. For an early stage, for an SMB, normally the sales cycle can be of around 2 weeks. Now, whenever we talk to larger enterprises, that can take as long as 3 months. So, for example, with Chubb, the large insurance company that we recently signed, that took over, more or less like 3 months. Morgan Stanley probably is going to take 3 months because we need to go through the InfoSec assessment and go through several layers, you could say, of approval.
Great, thank you. And Hadil.
Yes. Hi, Patricia. Thank you so much for that presentation and very exciting solution. I am curious, who's a decision maker when you're going to these small businesses and enterprises? Who's typically the person that makes the purchase?
Sure. So on the SMB side, it tends to be either like, I'm just going to call it like head of sales or business development, even though obviously depending on the vertical, as we focus on service sectors, they're not really called sales or business development. It can be like in a small law firm. Well, it's actually the partner lawyer in a commercial real estate firm is the lead broker. But however, as we grow in the size of the enterprises, and especially since COVID, there have been new teams that have arisen within these enterprises that are normally called digital transformation. So they tend to be the ones in charge of implementing this type of tools. So they are the ones that are looking for tools to make their employees a lot more efficient, to basically shorten their own cycles, increase their top line. So even though we need to go through the actual employees per se, because they need to like the solution. And our idea with Caro is that we want to be a tool that all of the employees will like, and that it's not a tool that management is going to impose. We do have to go through this, again, like this team that I was calling, like digital transformation, operation. So it changes the name depending company to company, but those are the ones that normally take care.
Great. Kirsten.
Yeah, great presentation. Thanks so much for being here. Kind of on a similar note, I'd love to understand on the enterprise side, what does integration and onboarding look like? Are there certain APIs that need to be integrated, and how long does it take a company to get kind of up and running with your product?
Sure. So actually, the good thing is that most of the integrations that we have is they're just about a couple of clicks. As long as we get whitelisted by their IT team, which again depends on the company. Some companies do not require of that IT approval, and they can just go into our list of available integrations, log in, and then the integration gets automatically activated. If there needs to be IT approval, then an IT manager needs to go in and whitelist Cado. But we are basically integrated with a bunch of APIs, including Salesforce, HubSpot, Active Directory, Microsoft Dynamics, Zapier as well. And our idea and how we've built it is that we want to make it as seamless as possible. So again, all of the integrations, even again with the Outlook contacts or your Microsoft Dynamics CRM, is just about a couple of clicks, putting in your details, your login credentials, and then the integration gets automatically activated. And I apologize if there is background noise. Obviously, like in New York, there's always a lot of like ambulances and police. So I'm sorry if you're hearing something right now.
Nope, you can't hear a thing. You're fine. Gail.
Okay.
Hey, Patricia, could you talk a little bit about your data science plans for the future of the company? How do you leverage your data to create magic for the future value prop?
Sure. So starting towards the end of this year, which is when we're planning to onboard our first data scientists, what we want to do is, well, for each sector, a deal means something different. So just to give you an example, in the case of a commercial real estate agent, how can a potential deal look like? Well, he will be after, like companies that are talking about expansion, hiring plans, fundraising, because those are going to be indicators that this company could be, soon looking for office space. So what we will do is go to publicly available sources, including, like Twitter and mostly news, to look into this type of like keywords or expressions and analyze them in the context within where they appear, and basically push the articles or news pieces of information that we find relevant for our users, to make them aware that this is going on, and basically as an indicator, as I was saying, that this could be a potential deal for them. So that is mostly where we're going in terms of like data analytics, and how we're going to apply AI, if you want to call it that way, to identify these potential deals for our customers.
Great. Patty, thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and obviously any other questions or feedback that you have, I'm happy to answer those.
Amazing. Thank you.
All right, I am back. Thank you all. There's going to be this slight little delay in between as we are at the stage maximum. So as one founder leaves, gives me an opportunity to jump back in. So thank you very much. Patty, thank you so much. It is now my pleasure to introduce Logoi. Logoi keeps your company knowledge up to date and searchable via a virtual assistant. So let's roll the Logoi video.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sarah Sateski, the co-founder and CEO of Logoi, and we are revolutionizing how companies think about knowledge transfer throughout the full employee lifecycle. Because we know that companies waste billions of dollars each year due to those inefficiencies, from slow ramp-up times during onboarding to weekly hours wasted searching for knowledge and waiting for others to transfer it. And the riskiest statistic of all, when key employees leave, they take almost 50% of their knowledge with them. Currently, companies spend almost $1 trillion annually buying tools to organize knowledge content. But in no time, those content platforms become bulky and bloated, making it impossible to find the right information. Long-term, these solutions don't work because humans are not incentivized to create bulky content and continuously validate it, so that it doesn't become misinformation for others. Also, all this content only represents about 20% of a company's explicit knowledge. Logoi extracts the other 80% of hidden knowledge that typically gets transmitted through discussion. Companies simply plug our Logoi bot into their preferred chat client, and Logoi indexes knowledge across all public channels and workspace-level apps. But the real secret sauce behind Logoi lies in our ability to sort knowledge from noise, identify gaps in the knowledge record, and create efficient, safe workflows to transfer siloed knowledge. Logoi works passively in the background to index publicly discoverable information as it comes in, and Logoi proactively reaches out to individuals with daily check-ins to fill in those knowledge gaps. Users respond in daily drips, taking only 5 to 10 minutes out of their day to catalog common questions, unblock teammates, or proactively add valuable knowledge to the shared record. As more companies adopt Logoi, we become the oracular AI solution that identifies blockers and breakdowns in knowledge transfer before they become a problem. Lagoi believes in a future of work that uses people data for good, building a culture of trust and support for employees and managers alike. Unlike productivity tracking softwares that measure all employees by the same standard, Lagoi knows that efficient knowledge transfer will vary across size of organization, verticals, and even roles, and we can train our deep learning models accordingly to serve up actionable insights on how companies can improve. And while we don't identify underperformers, we do highlight top contributors whose otherwise silent work and overall value to the company might go unnoticed in a standard performance review. We have 20 signed LOIs with starter and growth size SMBs, and we charge a per-seat license based on the number of employees, integrations, and features, which scale accordingly with company size. Within 18 months, we believe we can acquire a sizable portion of the 103,000 English-speaking organizations under 1,000 employees who currently use Slack. Expanding to Microsoft Teams and Cisco WebEx expands our TAM to $230 billion. Over my career, I've built educational products at Wharton, Penn, and Berkeley Haas, which generated millions in revenue. And my co-founder, Dr. Alan Romano, built the Digital Humanities Hub at Florida State, where he specialized in conversational AI and led cutting-edge research projects with faculty across multiple disciplines. We both hold PhDs in linguistics and have been working with large language data before the world ever knew ChatGPT. Rounding out our leadership team is our head of marketing, Matt O'Day, who ran early stage growth for Square, Eero, and Aura. We are seeking a $1 million investment on a $7 million cap post-money safe. We're currently at 50% commitment from funds focused on AI and the future of work, and we're looking to identify 1 to 2 additional investors to close out our round later this month. Thank you.
All right, it is my privilege to bring up to the stage the founder of Lagoi, Dr. Sarah Sateski.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Sarah. How are you doing?
I'm great. How about yourself?
Good. We will dive into some questions. I don't know, Kirsten, would you like to go first?
Yes, happy to. Hey, Sarah, nice job. Thank you so much for the presentation. I was really interested to hear about sort of the choice on, in identifying sort of the top performers, but not the underperformers. Can you talk a little bit about the choice to do that?
Yes, absolutely. So we did a lot of research with Carnegie Mellon human-computer interaction, and we talked to a number of workers across these spaces, and we said, what are the true challenges you're facing with knowledge transfer? And we chronically heard that women, people of color, anyone who feels marginalized in these environments have said, we are contributing so much in the background, but because we're not appearing in meetings, we're not talking in meetings and being seen, our work is going unnoticed. And because of that, we feel really undervalued, and it makes us want to leave organizations. And when those people leave, it's actually really costly to the company because you're not seeing the full picture of the work that they're doing. So we said, what if we actually came up with a better way to surface that? What if there was a way to actually capture those contributions to show just how valuable Kirsten is to an organization by how much she's helped her teammates. So that was our decision to do so. And obviously, it doesn't just benefit those people. Anyone who's helping out a teammate and proactively contributing to the knowledge record can also be recognized as a result of that. So we're incentivizing that good behavior and not, it's carrot versus stick, not slapping a, wrist for bad behavior.
Sarah, I have a follow-up question on that because I love that and bringing sort of unheard voices forward. I do have a question about employees who might simply underreport on your system, and what happens if that seems like it would create a hole as well, but what has been solved on that term?
Yeah, so great question. And we really try and build our product thinking about human behavior at its whole. So we actually don't want to be thought of just as a performance management tool. We have a lot of different layers baked in. We advertise ourselves essentially as a personal assistant. So everyone can benefit from the value of, if I gave you the knowledge that was in my brain, how could that benefit me? Would I not have to answer the same question? twice? Would I be able to go on PT and not be bothered, or parental leave? Would I be able to take a break, take my kids to work in the morning, and have questions answered for me? Everyone wants that. Well, we provide that benefit by sharing knowledge. Everyone benefits. And when we talk about cost to the buyer, even in times of economic recession, the average professional employee is paid $20 an hour. We're a $10 per seat license. If we save every employee a half hour within their day, or sorry, not within their day, within their month, we've paid for our license. So we are directly tied to company ROI, and we calculate what those savings are to everyone. It's just, we have built a product that works at multiple levels of an organization. And because I'm here to you talking today about connectedness and the human connection, and why this is an important tool for HR, and that's what we're focusing on. But this is something you can definitely take to a CFO and a COO and say, I'm going to connect the work that I'm doing here to cost savings. Oh, did I lose audio?
You did, Kate, for just a minute. Who comes up next? Is it Hadil or Gail? Oh, we lost her audio.
I can hear you.
There she is. We can't hear Kate, so we're going to go right to Hadil.
All right. Sarah, thank you so much for, sharing your solution with us. And I'm particularly excited about this because, at SHRM during the Great Resignation and now with the tech layoffs, this is definitely a huge problem. And I get super excited when I see solutions addressing it. I have a couple of questions for you. The first is, how long does that process take of accumulating the data where it becomes valuable to the employers? And then the other question that I have is, have you received any pushback from employers to adopt your technology? And if so, why?
Yep, great question. So our time to delight, our time to provide that magic takes about 30 minutes to build the initial knowledge graph. It goes through, it indexes all of that information, and we become a searchable record. So out of the box, we should perform better than Slack search. So again, connecting it to value to an organization, we just help you find information better. Within 30 days, we can give you a verifiable record of what were the base metrics that we got when we did the initial scan, and then based on our kind of interventions and collection of information, how much improvement did we collect? So you should be able to see a cost savings and an impact within 30 days. And then over time, we get better and better and better. So we not only justify that cost, we hopefully pad the budgets of HR professionals to say, look, I've just saved the organization all of this money as quantified by this metric, drilling it down to very data-driven details. Now maybe I can purchase one of the other wonderful HR tools that we are hearing today, or anything else that we've been fighting for at an organizational level. And over time, how Logoi evolves is we become this really powerful analytics engine that we can start to take data from other platforms and really build this level of connectedness to really start chipping away at all of the problems we're talking about today. So everything that Dr. Lieberman was saying in his presentation about the organizational challenges, the pathos, logos, the pathos, the ethos, where it's all the rhetorical triangle. He's getting at the organizational challenges that humans face, and that is super, super important. And we're the logos, we're the logoi. We're cracking away at the knowledge, and we're figuring out what are those translational layers that are causing the breakdowns. So when I say, where are the brand guidelines, that might mean a different question than what you're receiving on the end, and we're helping to correct that. In terms of challenges we face, we're still very much in our early closed pilot phase. We're really collecting information, again, on that value to organizations and really what matters to them, what types of reporting that they need. I wouldn't say pushback. The only questions that we get are usually around data storage, data privacy, what we're doing with that. And to that we say, we've spent decades working with data that is HIPAA compliant, GDPR compliant. So we think very critically about this upfront and say, how do we store the data in ways that de-risks knowledge leak and bleed across other organizations upfront in our earliest startup days. We're very proactive about how we house it, but once we usually talk to an IT administrator about those data practices, it's usually pretty much a straightforward go. We're install a Slack bot and time to delight should be very short.
Great, thank you. And I did the thing Brian said not to do, which was leave myself on mute. Sorry about that. We have, Gail, I don't know if you have one very quick question to pop in on that, or
we can ask about data privacy, so I'm good.
Okay, awesome. Sarah, thank you so much for telling us about Logoi. And I'm gonna let us switch out here, and thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It is now time for On the Goga. On the Goga is a no-code platform, that allows HR, benefits, and wellness teams to build their own wellness and benefits portals. Let's roll the On the Goga video.
So Brian, we seem to be having a little trouble with the stream. So I wanted to stop that because our audience, we're seeing it, but our audience is not. So we're going to jump to our next startup and then we'll go back to On the Goga so we can play their full video for the audience.
That sounds like a great plan. We absolutely want to do that. So I will introduce, as we get some of these technical difficulties ironed out, Upful. Upful is a software that uses behavioral science to coach people as they write employee performance feedback and reviews and job candidate notes and comments. So let's roll the Upful video.
Picture this person in your head: a top performing engineer, an ambitious product manager who developed AI fraud fighting solutions for the biggest companies in the world, an award-winning leader who developed a chatbot for automotive sales. Now, when you were thinking of this person, did you think of me? Hi, my name is Shireen. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Upful. The last time I had a performance review, it was spectacular. So I asked about a promotion, and my manager said, "Shireen, you already make more than my wife." And then he gave me some vague feedback and commented on how I was too ambitious. But did you know that ambition is considered negative for women? We receive far more negative and personality-based feedback than men do, which lowers our salaries. Some companies try to train managers on how to give evaluations, but it's time-consuming, expensive, and ineffective. It's no wonder that 86% of employees feel that performance reviews are not accurate. So they disengage or quit their jobs, costing U.S. businesses $1 trillion a year. That's why I created Upful. Upful is a software solution that coaches managers to give more meaningful and inclusive feedback. We analyze language and look for vague, speculative, and extreme language. Coaching is non-accusatory and uses behavioral science and nudge theory, proven to change thoughts, not just words. Here you can see an example for aggressive, where we softly offer alternatives. Performance reviews are just the starting point. We'll offer scalable training for self-assessments and calibration meetings. We'll provide analytical insights so leaders can make better decisions. And we'll alert HR when we detect high-risk activity so they can intervene more quickly. Our Chrome extension works with almost any browser-based tools, and 200 people have already signed up for Upful from companies like Microsoft and Walmart. We'll pursue a land and expand sales model with our initial beta users. We have relationships with partners to eventually license our technology, and we have signed letters of support representing $300,000 in subscriptions in our sales pipeline. You already heard a little about me. My co-founder Eli has a background in psychology and computer science, and together we've won awards from many organizations. Companies already have systems that offer a place to simply write feedback, employee surveys to uncover issues, and when problems are left unresolved, a single arbitration costs a business $75,000 per employee. Upful is the proactive, preventative, and scalable solution, creating more equitable career growth. So help us improve talent retention and engagement, reduce discrimination, and save businesses time and money. We're Upful. Join us in making your workplace a better place to work. Thank you.
All right. I am excited to welcome to the stage the founder of Upful, Shireen Nikaeen. Shireen, come on up.
Hey, Shireen, how are you?
Good. How's everyone?
Good, thanks. We are going to start with Hadil on questions.
Awesome. Thank you. Shireen, nice to see you again. I have a question for you around success. What metrics are you looking at, that identify that this is an impactful solution for employers?
Okay, so we track a quality score of the feedback or evaluations. We objectively measure it based on what we see in the language, and we can track how that changes over time per employee and for different demographics of employees. And then we also do a small survey, like a pulse survey before, during, and after using it. And we track how people rate their manager. So we're tracking manager excellence. We're tracking feelings of inclusion and belonging and being valued by the organization and their manager. And we also track the likelihood of turnover. So we can tie using Upful to turnover or retention. We do that, but then we can also tie the evaluations and the language in it. How does it impact, let's say, salary increases or promotion velocity as well? But those are a little bit more longer term metrics.
Great. Gail.
Hey, Shireen, I would love to hear a little bit about your conversations with the buyers. What do they like about your solution? Are there any reservations that they're coming up with? I know I personally love what you're doing, and obviously work with a lot of HR companies that are struggling to sell in right now. So curious about the feedback you're getting in market.
Yeah, most of the feedback we're getting is around data security. And we've taken a lot of measurements to show that we are. However, for a lot of the organizations, it's typically a little bit like mid-sized to larger that understand the need and see like a lot of value in it, and they have urgency to pay for something like this because they need something that's scalable. And those larger organizations have hard requirements around like SOC 2, sometimes even HIPAA. And while we are doing a lot of the best practices, like I believe Sarah was talking about, we separate PII from the feedback data when they're in separate databases. We're using cloud providers that are all SOC 2 compliant already. Data at rest and data in transit is encrypted. So we're doing a lot of the best practices, but we haven't like paid for the SOC 2 audit. So that I feel is holding us back from larger organizations. So we've had to temporarily go down market to try to prove viability before we go and spend that huge, make that huge investment in the audit. That's the biggest issue we've heard of.
Great. Thank you. Quick question on any sort of behavior at the manager levels. Have you seen that the impact of the tool that you're providing to them has made any long-term impacts on behavior, choices, etc.?
It's still too early for us to say that because we haven't had a large scale like case study with a business. Our beta users right now are like 1 or 2 employees per company, but like across 150 to 200 different companies. So it's hard for us to do the analysis that I was describing to Hadil. We haven't done that with a large enough organization to show that long-term benefit in behavior.
Great. Is that intended? You'll
Yes.
sort of be tracking that? Super. Great. Person.
Yeah, great. Nice presentation. Thanks so much. I love that you talked about ambition. And kind of on that note, I love where you're starting, but I would love to learn, like, what is your big vision for where this goes?
So this type of coaching can become highly customized based on who is using it and who they're talking about or writing to or speaking to. So while right now it's all coaching for in writing situations, but we could imagine that this could be able to do like speech to text and vice versa, text to speech. So you could literally have like a coach or an ombuds person in a meeting, in every meeting, especially in calibration meetings, but in almost any meeting, listening to the conversation and like potentially nudging people when certain parts of the conversation are problematic or biased or bullying. That way, it's not the victim or some other colleague pointing it out and being confrontational. It's a third party robot that's doing it. So people are going to be less defensive to something nudging them during a meeting like that. That's one of the directions we like, bigger directions, but mainly that it can become highly customized. It can alert HR to potential bullying, discrimination, retaliation, inconsistencies in how different people are rated or discussed, like the language that is used to describe them. It can notice sharp changes, and that way a human can look at it more earlier on than waiting until it becomes a bigger problem.
Awesome. Shireen, thank you so much for telling us about
Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
All right. So a quick question for Elise, actually. Are we moving forward? I know we have a couple of little technical difficulties that I think we're almost done ironing out. Shall we proceed with On the Goga? Yes, we shall. I can see
I
that.
think we can. Yep, I think we can. We'll give it our best shot.
All right. Our apologies to everyone. Thanks for bearing with us. So I want to give the intro to On the Goga again. On the Goga is a no-code platform that allows HR, benefits, and wellness teams to build their own wellness and benefits portals. Let's roll On the Goga.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anna Greenwald, and I am the founder and CEO of On the Goga, a no-code hub that helps HR teams to build their own customized employee well-being platform. Over the last 2 years, COVID has catalyzed the need for HR teams to create incredible employee experiences. This has resulted in a 29% increase in HR tech spend since just 2021. A core chunk of that spend has been on wellness, initiatives, benefits, apps, yet HR teams are still struggling with how to provide employees with direct, consistent access to everything that's available. And 90% of employees say that a comprehensive platform would be super valuable to them. That's where we come in. On the Goga's no-code solution gives HR teams the ability to build and deliver hyper-customized employee wellness programs on their own platform and in a fraction of the time. Without knowing any code, HR teams can build this custom hub featuring their own branding, events, content, benefits, and so much more, so that employees can access everything in one central place. They can even add world-class content developed by On the Goga, like our live well-being workshops. These are delivered exclusively to each customer's team in real time, hosted by real On the Goga well-being coaches that are trained not only in their wellness specialty, but also in interactive remote facilitation. Our platform differs from traditional wellness products because it puts the company at the center, enabling them to build a totally unique ecosystem of well-being that showcases what makes their culture stand out. A little bit about traction. We launched our hub in November of 2021 and now have 15 paying corporate customers on the platform. We are fully bootstrapped to date. Our total revenue hit $775,000 in 2022 with over $1 million in signed contracts, including $464,000 of ARR from our product alone. I lead our team at the side of my amazing co-founder and COO, Dr. Ali Goldstein, an organizational psychologist, And together we have over 15 years of organizational consulting experience, helping brands like L'Oreal, Dell, Grubhub, and Lyft. And our company is at a very exciting moment. We are currently in Techstars national program and will be raising our first ever seed round in Q2 of 2023, focused on product and marketing expansion. So if you're interested in that, definitely let me know. But either way, we would love to stay connected. You can sign up for our weekly update emails to follow our business at www.onthegoga.com/weekly-update. We would love you to join us on our mission to make the future of work more human. Thanks so much.
All right. It is my pleasure to welcome to the stage the founder of On the Goga, Anna Greenwald.
Hello.
Hello, Anna. How are you?
I'm so good. How are you all doing?
Good. Amazing. Thanks for telling us about On the Goga. And I'll start out with a quick question. Can you tell us a little bit, first, just about your sales cycle? Got some good numbers there. I'm also curious on how the programming breakdown with the clients you've had so far between On the Goga opportunities versus sort of picking and choosing from their own opportunities and other. I'd love to hear that breakdown.
Yeah. So great question. I'll actually start with the second question you asked because, well, the first question is actually pretty easy. Our average sales cycle is about 2 to 3 months. That really depends on the channel that the customer comes to us through. So we have a really unique opportunity as this HR platform that specializes in wellness. We actually qualify for well-being credits. This is between $5,000 and $100,000 that insurance carriers give to employers to spend on their wellness programming. And so when we get on a call with one of those customers, they can close in 24 hours. Some other customers paying out of pocket, it might take closer to 2 to 3 months, which is our average. So that's a little bit about our sales cycle. In terms of the breakdown, it's such an interesting question. So our workshops, our content, our programming, is a competitive advantage of ours because when I originally started the company many years ago, we did consulting, we did content development. And so we have that content locked in. That's our intellectual property that we can pull out and use at any time, which gives us a lot of market hook, a lot of stickiness. And so it's often the first thing that a customer comes to us for. They'll start out saying, hey, we want help with this content because they're strapped for time, right? 98% of HR professionals are experiencing burnout. And so they'll usually come to us with that. And then once they realize that they can start to build out this really unique ecosystem, they'll start to add in, they'll say, hey, well, we have Headspace. Can we add that in? Oh, well, we have an awesome L&D manager that hosts workshops. Can we add that in? And that ultimately, that user-generated content helps us create a moat because then they have all their content on the platform and don't want to leave.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. Listen.
Yes, thank you. Really nice presentation. My question is kind of about user activity. So once you're in a company, what have you learned about how your users use you? How frequently do they log in? Things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when it comes to benefits, kind of the HR team, the leadership team's worst nightmares, we have something that people don't use. And the reality is that when we're building wellness programs, we have to be putting content in front of people that compels them, that interests them. And that's why between my co-founder, Dr. Ellie Goldstein, and myself, we've really focused not just on the human-centered design of the platform, but filling it with content that creates touch points for people to come into the platform multiple times a month. So the customer might have their own well-being workshop. Let's say they're doing a boundary setting workshop. That often we'll see a big uptick there with people coming in to register when it's announced, coming in to view it when it's time to go, coming in to view the recording after the workshop is done. But then they'll also get monthly blasts with newsletters, new content that's added to the hub. And so we've been really learning and testing what engagement features are the biggest pull in terms of the content that's being shown, whether it's on the Goga, the customer, and what the medium is. So right now we're doing a lot of emails. We're doing a lot of communication through champions within the platform, and other things that we're looking to test out are things like Slack integrations or text messages. Great question.
Awesome. Thank you. Hadil?
Yeah, Anna, thank you for the presentation. A question that I have is about your corporate clients. You mentioned that you have 15 of them. Can you tell me more about them, size-wise? Were they using an alternative solution that you've replaced? What does that look like?
Yeah, so it's a great question. And we are really lucky to have some pretty incredible customers on board to the platform. So if you've ever been to a corporate office, you've probably seen a Ricoh printer, RICOH. They're one of our customers, the City of Philadelphia, the School District of Philadelphia, but then also Francesca's, the clothing brand. And that's been a really cool experience for us as we've grown the platform, because we're seeing kind of this industry agnostic component to it. But what is really critical is that these are organizations with distributed and diverse workforces, where it's not just 50 people in an office that want an on-site wellness program, right? There's this need for centralization. One of my favorite kind of stories about our customers is with Ricoh. We had one phone call with them, our first kind of conversation, and they called us back the next day. They said, we just canceled our subscription to our former platform. We paid the cancellation fee and we're ready to move over fully to your platform. So typically, once we get on the phone with an ICP and kind of explain to them what we've built, this combination of everything that they were trying to scramble together with this amazing, engaging content, it's pretty easy to convince them that our platform is the solution. Also, we don't force them to get rid of things they love, right? That's that integration aggregation play. And for us, that's really important because that's what helps them build a really unique ecosystem and focus on their employer brand. Great question.
Great, Anna, thanks. And Gail, do you have anything to follow up with?
Sure. So in terms of getting into a new customer, are you typically replacing something? If so, what are the competitors that you're replacing?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we don't really begin by replacing most of the time, right? We actually often begin by supplementing. And that's because a lot of our customers that are really kind of human-centered companies that care about their employees, they know that not every employee is the same and people need different experiences. So oftentimes they'll come to us because they are looking for a supplement or because they're looking to integrate and centralize. So oftentimes it's not the case that we have to go head to head with these competitors. But if we are looking at the competitive market out there when it comes to wellness products, what's cool is that there's kind of two key pieces to this. One are the niche solutions, right? The Headspace, the Pelotons that are trying to come into this B2B2C model. But we have, because of our aggregation play, really made partners out of them. So like we have meetings every other month with the head of enterprise sales from Peloton, who's like, we want to be part of something bigger. And so that's a really unique way that we can play in that market and help our customers and our partners get the most. On the other side, there's actually kind of this really interesting emerging market of employee experience tech. And there are a couple of aggregators, these companies that are trying to bring together employee experience tech in one place, but they always tend to run away from wellness because it's really hard to do if you're not a content expert. And so that for us is a competitive advantage. We see it because we have this existing experience, this existing IP. It would be very difficult from a competitor standpoint for them to catch up with us and continue the aggregation play. So since we already have that, we can kind of play on both sides of that.
Great. Anna, thank you so much for telling us about On the Goga.
Thank you so much. Great to meet you guys.
All right. And we have one more startup. I am excited to introduce everyone to Dreamy. Dreamy seamlessly automates the onboarding, training, matching, and tracking of mentorship programs. Let's roll the Dreamy video.
Hi, my name is Ashima Sharma, and I'm the CEO of Dreamy. And what you see on the screen is me, a new engineer in a remote oil town. I struggled immensely in the first 6 months of my career and had a lot of difficulty in finding mentors and sponsors, which actually led me to leave the industry altogether. And I know I'm not the only one here. In fact, companies, schools, and governments all try to provide mentorship because it is crucial for the workforce. but they drown in the manual processes and the Excel sheets and manual forms that prevent scale and prevent understanding what the actual impact is. So say hello to Dreamy. Dreamy is a beautiful and simple B2B web application that automates mentorship program planning, mentor and mentee logistics, and most importantly, powerful analytics. And we know now is the perfect time as we're seeing organizations scramble to upskill, reskill, and retain their potential and existing talent at a low cost. Dreamy works outside of the corporate boundaries and targets workforce development programs, higher education, and professional communities to close the mentorship gap. And we've been able to acquire customers in these segments due to our customized onboarding, our match obsession to drive high satisfaction and engagement ratings, our enhanced user experience, which appeals to the younger generation, and lastly, our affordable pricing to truly make mentorship equitable in an underserved market. Moreover, we have a straightforward business model. We're B2B and we charge a one-time implementation fee as well as a recurring monthly cost. And we've grown over the last year through aggressive outbound sales, referrals, and our channel partners. And in fact, we've been able to close over 40 paying partnerships, impacting 4,000 mentors and mentees and achieve 90% match satisfaction rating. We're working with Harvard University, Georgia State, Power to Fly, and BizStarts, a workforce development program through the city of Milwaukee. Now, this is just the beginning. We started with our mentorship offering to tackle on that learning and engagement piece, but really we're building the future of upskilling and reskilling to support talent acquisition and workforce analytics needs, amplified by our channel partners, such as Blackbaud. Now, none of this would be possible without our small but mighty team. We're a team of engineers, and we all happen to have faced the mentorship gap up front. However, we build with empathy, and we're incredibly proud to be backed by Techstars, AWS, Pivotal Ventures, and Div Inc. Now, everything that we've achieved to date has been off of $120,000 of institutional funding. We're actually looking to raise our first round at $500,000. If you are a pre-seed investor or workforce development partner, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. Unfortunately, Ashima is traveling today, but we have one of Dreamy's co-founders joining us, which is awesome. I'd like to welcome up to the stage, Jasmine Snow.
Hi, Jasmine.
Hi.
So glad you're here. I thought we were going to ask questions into the ether. Just hope they get answered. So great to have you. I will start out with a quick question. Can you talk about how you source and then onboard the mentors, specifically in terms of anything from quality to programming, etc.?
Yeah, so we actually don't source our mentors, and that's intentional. What we've noticed through our research is that most of our customers actually have their own mentors. They just don't have the systems in place to do it at scale. So it's cut our overhead costs, and it's been a win-win for both us and the customer.
Great. Gail, do you want to pop in quickly?
Sure. And I don't know if you have paying customers yet, but do you have any sort of data on the usage metrics in terms of both the mentors and mentees and what that looks like from a stickiness perspective?
Absolutely. So user engagement is very important. We pretty much gauge our engagement and the success of the match based on how happy they are with their match. And our success rate is actually at 90%.
Great. Thank you. Kirsten.
Yeah, thank you. Really interesting to learn about Dreamy. I'm curious sort of why you chose those 3 initial target sectors, that you mentioned in the presentation. So it's university.
Oh, yes. So yeah, most of our competitors, they actually go for like the larger corporations. So we've decided to step outside of that saturated market, and we're actually looking towards the underserved markets such as nonprofits and government sectors. And it's been very beneficial to us, and we've been able to acquire multiple customers this way.
Great, thank you. One last question too. The space of mentorship, especially as you start dipping into things like apprenticeship, etc., it can be busy. Can you talk a little bit just about kind of go-to-market strategy and/or differentiation, and how you see yourselves in terms of competitor set?
Yeah, so when we started Dreamy, we were very strategic in making sure that what we're doing isn't already in the market. So one, the way we find our customers, we don't go towards the saturated market like the other competitors do. We go towards the underserved markets, such as the nonprofit, government sectors, and university workforce development programs. Second, we actually customize their instances for them. So we create fully white label instances for our customers based on their various use cases, which we found is very beneficial because, you know, of course, they have so many different things that they're trying to do. Each company is very different. And we've also learned that the match satisfaction is what's going to drive the success of each program. Yeah.
Great. Any other last questions before we end our pitch from the judges?
Kate, do you mind if I jump in real quick?
Oh, yes, Deal. I'm sorry.
All good, all good. I just need to ask this question so I can assess properly. But Jasmine, real quick, how do you partner with employees, and do you have any data on retention if you do address that?
So employees as in like the companies and the
I
HR.
apologize, employers. I apologize.
No,
how do you
it's okay.
partner with employers?
So we do cold outreach, of course, and we've been lucky enough to have an increase of our inbound referrals through our customers, and also through channel partners as well. We work very well with them. So we start with, of course, our sales pipeline, and we bring them on, we onboard them with customer success, and then we fully customize and white label their sites with them. And some of our customers have actually returned and added additional services. So for instance, one of our customers, Women in Music, they had an original site which was for mentorship, and they came back and they decided that they wanted to expand and add a site for internships.
Great. Wonderful. Jasmine, thank you so much for telling us about Dreamy.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I am going to invite our judges, if you would be so kind, on the left side on the floor map, if you would scroll down to the bottom of the floor map and once again find the pitch competition section and go ahead and join the judges table for your deliberation. So we'll get that going. And then what we want to do, in addition to the judges having the opportunity to deliberate and pick who they believe is the winner of today's pitch competition, we wanted to give all of you an opportunity as well. So I'm going to ask that Jay, who is a member of the Lexco team, to share an Audience Choice Award survey. That is going to appear right on screen, and you can interact with it directly on the screen. For those of you that had an opportunity to fill out our overall audience participation survey on Connectapalooza in your experience, it will work in the exact same way. So at your tables, you will see the survey pop up. We also want to recognize an Audience Choice Award in addition to the Judges Award. So that survey, if it's not up already, will be here momentarily. We'll take just a few minutes to give the judges an opportunity for their deliberation, and then all of you to do a vote. So give us about 3-ish, maybe 5 minutes on the high side. We will then make our announcements and we will close up Connectapalooza 2023. So we are very near the finish line. Greatly appreciate everybody hanging with us. And also a message to all of the founders. I think most of them are still hanging out backstage. I want to recognize that there may be a handful of our audience members who would like to connect with the founders. So founders, please feel free to go to your founders table in the pitch competition section. And if there are folks in the audience that want to connect specifically with one of the founders, you can scroll to the bottom of your map after you have voted and go join the founders, and then choose somewhere on the LexGo map where you might want to have a more private conversation. So I'll encourage you to do that as well. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. All right, everybody. We are at the finish line here. So I am super excited to bring up to the stage Kate Brodock, who was one of our judges, and Kate was kind enough to take a lead role. And they just finished up the judges' deliberation. It was like a jury room. It was exciting to be a part of. So I'm going to invite Kate up on stage. So Elise, if you would bring Kate up. Kate, I want to turn it over to you to share the judges' winner of the Startup Pitch Competition.
Amazing. First of all, thank you everybody in the audience for joining us today and listening to these amazing startup founders pitch their babies, which is really important. I personally am also so excited to see some of the powerful women who've been on stage in that role. So that's very rewarding for me. Also would like to thank the judges for their inputs, their great questions, allowing us all to follow them as we dig in a little bit more into the companies. And really excited for some of these solutions to be hitting the market. They're doing a lot of powerful things, empowering employees and workforces, allowing for more inclusive workplaces and career advancement opportunities, and really allowing for the continuity and the healthy continuity of businesses all around. So our Judges Award, this was a tough one. We were going back and forth with a couple of items on the backstage. We would love to announce that Lagoy has won the judges portion of the competition.
And we have a tabulation of the Audience Choice Awards. And I am excited to share. And I didn't see all the details, so I have a feeling it was as evenly split as it sounds like the judges' deliberation was. And we have a winner that edged out. And the Audience Choice Award goes to On the Goga. So Lagoy and On the Goga are our two winners of the Judges Award and the Audience Choice Award. And if indeed Sarah and Anna are still at the founders table, if you are interested, and of course would love to give you the opportunity to pop back up on stage and maybe share just a couple of words, you are more than welcome to do that. And while you might be finding your way back to stage, I just want to share a few things. Kate, so much gratitude for your participation and all of the judges' participation. Thank you so much. Again, we had Kate Brodock, who is with me here on stage. We had Hadil Al-Tashi. We had Gail Wilkinson and Kirsten Sudath all joining us as judges. We had Patty Ricarte, Dr. Sarah Sateski. We had Anna Greenwald, Shireen, Nika Een, and Jasmine Snow joining us as the founders and co-founders of the startups. We had Dr. Matthew Lieberman kick us off today. We had Shasta Nelson in the middle of the day and Brian Burkhart as our speaker closing the day out. I can't even begin to express my gratitude to the LexGo team, and in particular, Jay Clark and Elise Storer. I don't believe any of you have seen them. You've probably heard their voices over the course of the hours we've spent together today, but to do this and what happens behind the scenes is no small feat, and having them back us up and deal with all of what we did leading up to today. So much gratitude for Jay and Elise and the entire LexGo team. And most importantly, to all of you, thank you for tuning in. It has been an amazing event for us, tons of learnings. Very, very excited that this topic has the resonance that it does, and super excited. I do want to share one more opportunity. Jay, I'll have you, if you'd be so kind, to throw the overall conference survey up. If you've not had an opportunity to fill that out, we'll throw that up. Hopefully we can throw that up. I'm throwing a bit of a curveball at Jay to throw that survey up. If that's doable, we'll leave that up. We have the floor open. You are free to mingle, hang out, and it looks like Anna from On the Goga just jumped up on stage. So I'm going to ask Elise to show her visibility. And Anna, congratulations on the Audience Choice Award.
Oh, that was awesome. We were so happy to be here. This was such an amazing event. The founders were talking backstage how just awesome it is to see all these amazing female founders, all these amazing female judges. Like, women are leading the future of work. It's awesome.
I love it. Congratulations. So happy
Thank
for you and Dr. Allie and the On the Goga team. I know how hard you all are working, and it is well-deserved recognition.
Thanks so much, Brian.
You bet. You bet. I don't know if Sarah is still with us. If she is, I'll see her here. If she's not, well then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again from the Anthem team. Super grateful. Oh, and I see Sarah is backstage, so maybe she's going to pop up on stage. And she is.
I am. I've been magically teleported.
You have been magically teleported. Congratulations, Sarah.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Been super passionate about what we're building, coming from this world of education and understanding like that knowledge transfer isn't just about data transfer. It's really just building connections, what this event is about. So really appreciate that it resonated with the judges, and happy to talk to anyone who is interested in learning more. And thanks for inviting us, Brian.
You bet. And a very heartfelt congratulations again, Sarah, to you and the entire Lagoy team. Well-deserved. Congrats, congrats.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap of Connectapalooza 2023. Thank you for being with us. We look forward to the next go-round. Have a great rest of your week. And thank you for being here. Take care, everybody.